Lauren I think that's a typo. Lauren is making 15 liters of mimosas for a brunch banquet. Orange juice costs her $1.50 per liter, and champagne costs her $12 per liter. So how many liters of orange juice? I'm going to call that my X. And how many liters of champagne? I'm going to call that my Y. Should be used for the mimosas to cost Lauren $5 per liter. Okay. So this one's a little bit different than the ones we've done before. It's still the same idea. We have two letters. We want to make two equations and then somehow combine them. And look, x the first step is to figure out what your x and your y are going to be. And then once you've clearly defined them, think about what they mean. X is the number of liters, right, of orange juice, and y is the number of liters of champagne. And if there's 15 liters altogether, then x plus y, the number of liters of orange juice plus the number of liters of champagne, should make $15. And now let's try to make another equation. It's $15 total, 15 liters total, and it's $5 per liter. So the total amount of money that we're going to be spending on this thing is we want it to equal 15 times 5. Right? Which would be $75. Because they wanted $5 per liter. Let's make an equation. This is an equation based on liters, so let's make another equation that's based on money. Right? It's $1.50 for each x, and then it's $12 for each y. And if you add up the money you spend on orange juice plus the money you spend on champagne, it should equal the total amount of money we were willing to spend. And so now we've almost got an equation to solve. We got to rewrite this equation a bit, though. We want to have x equal something, or y equal something. That way we can plug one into the other. So that's a quick fix over here. Let's just subtract y from both sides. And now you have something to plug in for x. Instead of x here, I'm going to write 15 minus y. So I got 1.50 on that bottom equation. I've come to my x, so I'm going to put 15 minus y in its place. I think if I zoom in, it won't make those little hash marks there. Okay, still writing this equation. Excuse me, still writing this equation over here. So now I got to do plus 12y. Then that should equal 15 times 5, so that should equal 75. Now I've got an equation I can solve for y. Okay, so this is what we've done before. Distribute the 1.5. You got to multiply that to everything inside the parentheses. Oops, I typed an extra 0 there. Makes 22.5. And then 1.5 times y makes 1.50y. And then we're getting closer. These can combine, right? This is like a negative 1.5y. So you can plug that in straight at, just as you see it in the calculator. Plus the 12y. That makes 10.5y. Getting closer. Now you want to subtract that 22.5 from both sides. So we got 75 minus 22.5, that gives us 52.5. And then the last step, you got to divide both sides by 10.5. So you get 5. We're looking for 5 liters of champagne. 5 liters of champagne for this mix. And so if there's 15 liters altogether, then it's pretty quick to find out how many liters of orange juice, right? It's got to be 10. That way 10 plus 5 makes 15. So once you solve for one, just like with the other problems, once you solve for one, it unlocks the other one real quick. Carmen wants to tile the floor in his house. You'll need 100 square feet of tile. You'll do most of the floor with a tile that costs $1.50 per square foot, but also wants to use an accent tile that costs $9 per square foot. So there's two types of tiles. The $1.50 type, and then the $9 type of tile. So how many square feet of each tile should he plan to use if he wants an overall cost to be $3 per square foot? So let's do the same thing we just did in this other equation. Let's make an equation for the number of square feet of the $1.50 tile plus the square feet of the $9 tile. That should equal 1,000. And then let's make an equation for money. This is an equation of square feet. Let's make an equation that relates money to each other. It's $1.50 for each of the first type of tile, and it's $9 for each of the second type of tile, and that should equal 1,000 times $3, right? Because it's $3 per square foot, we have 1,000 feet. So this should be the total amount of our budget. And just like in the last one, we want to get one of the letters by itself. So I'm going to subtract y from both sides. And now I have something to plug into this equation down here. Instead of x, though, I'm going to write 1,000 minus y. So I've got this copied down. Now I need to do plus 9y. That equals 3,000 if you multiply 1,000 times 3. And if you distribute that 1.5 times 1,000 gives us 150. You could do that. Oh, I wrote 1,500. It gives us 150. And then 1.5 times y just gives us 1.5y. Things are shaping up just like the other equation. After you set it up, then everything works. It's the same strategy. So I got that negative 1.5y plus the 9y. That combines to make 7.5y. So subtract 150 from both sides. So 3,000 subtracted by 150 gives us 2,850. And then the last step to get y by itself is to divide both sides by 7.5. So you get y is 380. And so that's how much square feet for that more expensive tile. So you could just plug that back in here to find out how much for the regular tile. 1,000 minus 380 gives us 620 for the $1.50 type. Okay, last one here. I can always do more too. If you just message me and let me know like which problem you're working on, I can, like if it's a homework problem, I can find something similar for us to look at. I could just like make up different numbers that make sense for the problem and then show you all the steps you need to take. Dominic pays 7% interest on his $15,000 college loan and 12% interest on his $11,000 car loan. What average interest rate does he pay on the total $26,000 he owes? Actually, got to think about this one. Because it's not 7 plus 12 divided by 2. Okay. Oh, you know what you could do? Find out. This one doesn't even need 2 letters. I think there's probably a way. It's just not coming to me right now to do it with 2 letters. You can avoid doing the 2 letters. Just find out how much interest he owes. So you got 7% interest. Multiply that to the 15,000. And then we have 12% interest. So multiply that to the 11,000. That's at 12% interest. This will just tell us how much interest we pay in total out of both of these. So we got 1,050. Then over here you have 11,000 times 0.12. That makes 1,320. So the total amount of interest we're paying is 2,370. So what's the average interest rate? Well, take the amount of interest you pay and divide it by the total amount of your loans, and that's going to tell you the interest rate. That's going to tell you the decimal form of the percentage, like we saw in previous sections when we worked on percentages. So it looks like 0.0912 if I round 12, which is 9.12%, or 9.1 to the nearest tenth. Okay?